everybody. I'm Cheryl Lawson, and I'm a member of the board here at the fellowship, and I want to welcome all of you this morning, whether you're a member or a visitor. And if you are a visitor, please, we have a welcome table in the fireside room, and we would love for you to stop by there. And there is, if you're here virtually, you can sign up at our virtual guest book online. And so we have a lot of announcements here this morning, so I'll get busy with that. And the first one is, remember that startup weekend thing that was in the weekly email several weeks ago? Well, it's coming up, and the congregational event is on Friday, October 4th. We'll start with a potluck at 6 p.m. Sign up in the fireside room today to help, and let us know what...
May I interrupt that? And I have the board for you to sign up.
Okay, and please do sign up and come to the event. There will be a conversation at 6:45, and it will be a family-friendly evening, so everyone is encouraged to come and get this new chapter with Reverend Kelly off to a great start. Next Sunday is Soul Matters Sunday. We'll hear stories from past program participants and consider the impact of small circle relationships in the greater life of the fellowship. And then after the service, we'll have a sign-up table in the fireside room. So please join us, and I can put in a plug for that because I've done Soul Matters, and it's a wonderful, wonderful program. The fellowship's end-of-life support group is hosting a new version of the Death Cafe on Sunday, October 13th at 2 p.m. This Death Cafe will have topic tables that will give you opportunities to join in conversations with a variety of people on a variety of topics. Please sign up today at the table in the fireside room if you would like to participate.
Date, please.
And
The date, what's the date?
oh, okay. It is October 13th at 2 p.m. It's a Sunday. Okay. And then a message from our Social Justice Circle. After the service, please stop by the writing table to send a postcard to an environmental voter in the key state of Virginia. This will be a 5 minute well spent. This will be 5 minutes well spent, and more information on this Get Out the Vote effort is available at the table. So a lot of things in the fireside room to sign up for. And the last announcement is the Women in the Round Choral Group is now meeting upstairs on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. All are welcome. And so I'd like you all to settle into this space and for the program to come, and thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sue Kirsten, and I'm kind of laughing because the generosity team who's responsible for this morning's service is, like Molly says, kind of a hot mess today. And she says, as illustrated by this plant. But I do want you to know that the generosity team is presenting this morning's service. This is an amazingly generous congregation in all kinds of ways, but this morning we will concentrate on the money part of generosity, looking toward funding of our operational budget for 2025. We promise to do this with some humor and inspiration and in the spirit of our theme, Life is Good at the UUFA. Our chalice lighting this morning, love remains the center. We light this flame to remind us love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love remains the center. When the light of truth burns all else away, love remains. Let's join in now on our hymn for this morning. 346. Come sing a song with me. The words will be up here, but I think you have him.
Next up, we'll have our time for all ages. So if anybody is young or young at heart, you may join us on the blue carpet. Good morning. I have a book for you all today. You know this book. I think it's pretty popular. But before we start the book, I want to talk a little bit about the book itself. Where do you think, raise your hand if you think you know where I got this book. What do you think? The Ames Public Library, right. Raise your hand if you've been to the Ames Public Library. Yeah, or another library maybe too. You go there all the time, right. It is an awesome place. What's there? Lots of books, right? And book clubs and all kinds of activities, that's right. But let's think about this book here. How do you think the library got this book?
I know what it says. So that's your news.
How do you think they got this book?
They bought it?
They bought it. What do you need to buy things?
Money.
Money. How do you think the library got the money?
By donations.
Donations? But, that is true, but they get most of their money from a different place.
A bank?
From a bank, yes. But how does the money get in the bank? I bet all your parents know it comes from taxes. So taxes are a thing where we pool our money together to do things as a community that we couldn't do otherwise by ourselves. So I don't know about you, but I've checked out a lot of books from the library over the years. And if I had to buy each book, I probably wouldn't have read as many books. You think that's true? You probably have read a lot more books because you have a library to borrow them from. So we use our tax money to do stuff together. the library, schools, roads, police and firefighters, things like that. We pool our money together to do stuff together. And did you know there's a lot of people that work at the library? There are volunteers, but there are people who work there too. And generally, when people work, they also want to get money, right? They need money for things like food and clothes and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's important. Pardon? Even toys, yes. If they want a toy, they probably need money. Pardon? If you had 0 toys, you might be a little sad, wouldn't you? Yeah. Okay, so this is a good example of how we share our books and we pool our money together to do things that is pretty important, right? Okay, so the book today is Should I Share My Ice Cream?
No.
So ice creams are, no, okay, the answer is no. Well, we'll see if Elephant agrees with you. I think some of you already know how this story comes out.
I want to keep my
Ice cream, get your cold ice cream for a hot day. Oh boy, ice cream. 1 ice cream, please. Here you go. Oh boy, I love ice cream. Wait, Piggy loves ice cream too. Piggy is my best friend. Should I share my ice cream with her?
No.
Yes, we get a yes and a no here, so I don't know. We'll see.
The ice cream stand so you can eat your ice cream.
Should I share my awesome, yummy, sweet, super great, tasty, nice, cool ice cream? That's a hard decision. Maybe Piggy doesn't like this flavor. Sharing a flavor Piggy does not like would be wrong. I will eat the ice cream. Wait, Piggy will like this flavor. It is very yummy. I will share my ice cream. It will not be easy.
It's melting.
Hey, Piggy's not here. She does not know I have ice cream. I will eat the ice cream. Where is Piggy?
Eat it before it all melts.
What if she is sad somewhere?
Exactly.
Said Pig. I must find her. When I do, I will say, would you like some of my ice cream? Then she will say, thank you. That would cheer me up. Then I will give her my ice cream to share. Yum!
I think it's all melted now.
Then my best friend will be happy. That's so nice. I will do it. I will share my ice cream. No! Now, Peggy cannot have any of my ice cream. Now, I cannot have any of my ice cream.
See, I told you should have just eaten it.
Yeah. Oh, I blew it.
Maybe here's a...
Who's there? Piggy, yeah. You look sad. Would you like some of my ice cream? Thank you. That would cheer me up. Yum.
It's the opposite one.
It's the opposite way, right?
It's so funny that
That was not my plan. Oh well, this works too.
it's so funny that I'm dead.
Now we'll sing our children off to their classrooms today.
Our reading this morning is an excerpt from the book Cultivating Generosity, Giving What's Right, Not What's Left, by Rem Stokes. I firmly believe that for most sensitive people, there comes a time in our spiritual growth when the need to give exceeds the need to receive. There comes a time in each of our lives when we probe into our consciousness and know that we need to give. We need to give to express our appreciation for all that we have received. We need to give to nourish our values and visions. We need to give because we are happy with the direction of our lives. We need to give to make a difference in the lives of others less fortunate. We need to give to build safe, beautiful communities that will support us in our hour of need. The author writes later, "Having money is a privilege that allows us the freedom to make decisions. It is not how much we have, but what we decide to do with it. That is the real measure of one's life. When we say we have no money to give, it is generally not because we have no money, but because we have no money left after being generous with ourselves. We must choose to live a more deliberate life."
This is a song I wrote, Will You Commit? I'm Dan Haug. You may have heard this one before. If you haven't, there is a participatory element. When I say, will you commit, you all respond, yes, we commit. So let's try this here. Will you commit?
Yes, we commit.
To sing this song?
Yes, we commit.
If you join me on your guitar, I know we can do no wrong. All right, here we go. Welcome to the fellowship, we are so glad you're here. But putting this together takes a lot of volunteers. Someone makes the coffee, someone else helps plan the program. And offering a hand is a good chance to get to know them. I'm glad I've gotten more involved, of that there is no doubt. But too much of a good thing I can get committed out. I'm flattered that they asked me, but I should not have agreed to join that one committee, because now I serve on 3. Will you commit?
Yes, we commit.
To do your bit?
Yes, we commit.
We're all part of this puzzle, so let's find out where you fit. If you commit,
Yes, we commit.
your time and treasure, imagine all the things that we can do together. A committee for generosity will gladly take your cash. For jobs too big for volunteers that need professional staff. A nominating crew finds leaders to serve on our board. And they in turn will tell us what we can and can't afford. Will you commit
Yes, we commit.
to do your bit?
Yes, we commit.
We got 4 fine folks on the payroll now, and we don't want them to quit. If you commit
Yes, we commit.
your time and treasure, imagine all the things that we can do together. When we sing this little light of mine, that's when our RE teachers shine. We need volunteers to lead craft projects and keep those kids in line.
No, they're fine.
It's fun to have discussions with inquiring young minds. But ask me to write the curriculum, nah, that's where I draw the line. Will you commit
Yes, we commit.
to join with me?
Yes, we commit.
Let's support our kids, their teachers, and our wonderful DRE. If you commit
Yes, we commit.
your time and treasure, imagine all the things that we can do together. We've said some sad goodbyes this year, but also said hello to several brand new members you should really get to know. If only there was someone who could help ease Bradley's load and reach out to new faces to ensure our numbers grow. Will you commit
Yes, we commit.
to help sustain
Yes, we commit.
all the good things that we're doing here in this building we maintain? If you commit
Yes, we commit.
your time and treasure, imagine all the things that we can do together. Imagine all the things that we can do together. Imagine all the things.
Self-introduction. All right, thank you, Dan, that was awesome. He improved it, well, adapted it from last time, for those of you who remember, so that's a classic UU song at this point, at least for the Fellowship of Ames. So I'm a member of the Generosity Committee, and I had badgered Sue and the others into letting me do this today. I don't want people to feel like I'm being negative, and I don't want people to feel that I'm being overly critical. Some of the things I'm going to say are a little broad and probably not exactly true in all cases, but I think the trend or the theme I want to talk about is true, and there's others here to talk about all the reasons why this fellowship matters for you and for the fellowship itself. But what's been nagging at me for a long time is I like to compare us to, say, other movements, other institutions, other things such as big churches. And I've been trying to figure out why, as a member of the Generosity Committee, it feels like we're missing one important dimension when we talk about money here. And I found a quote when I was getting ready to talk today. I knew I wanted to talk, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to say, and then I found this quote from the page on the UUA website that's titled, "Existence of a Higher Power in Unitarian Universalism." So that's the kind of misleading for what I'm about to say. That's what the page is if you want to look it up yourselves. But the quote is, "We join together not because we have a shared concept of the divine, rather we gather knowing that life is richer in community than when we go it alone." It's like, well, that's a very nice thought, and it's certainly true, but it's missing something really important, and I feel I haven't found this yet. And I think that what we, as UUs, do is we're very careful to avoid ascribing some sort of common belief system, and that's essential, that's necessary to what we are, and that will not go away. But there's a casualty of avoiding that kind of broad level belief or higher purpose. And that is that we don't really have any higher purpose that we talk about as an institution other than nurturing our individuals, nurturing our communities, nurturing our fellowships. But I think this institution actually has a very important role to play in society as a whole, and I don't think we think about this enough. And it may be wrong, but it feels like that goes all the way, that absence, that gap goes all the way to the top, at least based on what I've seen. Now, this absence of a higher purpose, trying to proselytize and convert and save the world from a spiritual standpoint, is a key part of who we are. Like, that absence distinguishes us in a very good way from the big box churches. But I think when it comes time to ask for money, it becomes a big disadvantage. And I'll explain kind of why I think that. So, when we are asked to give, it's usually in the context of what we can do for ourselves, what the fellowship does for us, our neighbors, for the Ames community, maybe even the broader UU community. And those are moving and important things. But sometimes it becomes kind of a math problem. Like Molly was saying earlier, think about what we can do beyond that. Well, why would we go beyond that, right? Why would we give more than we get out of it, or we think the city of Ames gets out of it, or the UU gets out of it? And I think that kind of math problem doesn't help us, because if we only think about the real world benefits, we're missing the extra dimension that the other churches have. They don't suffer this handicap. They are offering eternal salvation, right? Not just to the member, the giving unit, but also to everybody who's the receiver of their message, the receiving units. So in addition to saving souls, these other churches provide a fortress. They see this as a fortress for their beliefs and for their deity in some cases, in all cases, right? But that fortress has to be strong. It has to withstand eternal external pressure and opposition. It has to fight against the government, the neighbors, or the supernatural opponents who are looking to take down their beliefs and their belief system and challenge their fortress. And these higher purposes, salvation, the need for a bastion and a champion for their beliefs, a bulwark against Satan. These are why people give 5 or 10% of their income to the theistic churches. So no amount is too much, right? When you're in an eternal battle for the soul and souls of the world, you're going to give till it hurts. We don't have that. We consider ourselves fortunate if we get 5%. I don't think anybody probably would do 5%. If we get 1 or 2%, that's great. And I think one of the reasons for that is that most of us, or all of us maybe, don't fully appreciate the higher purpose of our fellowship. And the reason we don't fully appreciate it is because we don't talk about it. We talk about our community, what the UUFA offers to us as individuals, and so on. But does the UUFA actually serve a higher purpose of some kind? And if so, what is it? So, I think there are several things that the big box churches and political campaigns, right, same idea, they have figured out how to get people to give more than they probably get tangible benefits out of. We don't seem to have gotten there yet. But the first one of those things that they figured out is to have a higher purpose that deserves every penny the giving unit can spare, as opposed to just the dollars that are comfortable to give, as Molly said. Second thing they figured out is that you have to have an ideological enemy, right, or enemies, plural, right, to help galvanize a sense of urgency in your congregants, a fervor to protect and promote their higher purpose. Well, the third one, and this isn't the last, but the third one is to have a theistic doctrine that both demands adherence and can be transferred to others. Well, we're not going to have the third one, thank God. But we actually have the first two. And that is why we are essential. That is why this place is essential. The UUFA, this, not just the building, but virtual also, right? We are a repository for and a protector of our values. I think the UUA going to a values-based doctrine instead of a principles-based doctrine actually helps us in this case, because now we have values clearly defined by the organization. We need to protect them, nurture them, grow them. And those values are undeniably under attack by enemies. I think that's obvious to all of us. And they are certainly worth protecting. So, just like the big box churches, the UUFA is an institutional fortress for our values. Maybe in some ways we're less robust because we don't have the theistic aspect, the supernatural afterlife part, okay? But as an amplifier of our values, this place is critically important. It needs to nurture them and help them grow. And financial resources, money, that's what makes institutions more robust and what increases their amplifying power. Doesn't mean we have to proselytize, we just have to be a vibrant place for people to go, a gathering place for us to share our values and reinforce them and go out there and try to spread them in the world. So please believe me when I say that values do not thrive if they only exist in our individual heads, okay? Those are at risk of getting squashed at the societal level by whatever values have bigger, wealthier organizations to protect and promote them. And we are seeing that now. We need each other as individuals, but we also need each other, and we need the UUFA as an institution. We need the institution, actually. That's the part I'm trying to think of as that extra dimension for giving. We need this institution to thrive, to help our values persist in central Iowa and beyond. Without this place, and I mean that both physically and virtually, and a sustainable number of people engaged in it, our values not only will not thrive, they might even get squashed. We're seeing that happen in Iowa right now. So we need this place, we need each other, and we need always to remember that we do indeed have a higher purpose, to protect and promote our values. And we need always to remember that these values are essential to a safe, inclusive, and thriving community, both here and in the larger world. And we need always to remember that these values are under attack. That is why this place is essential. That is why we are essential. And that is why we should give more.
We will now give and receive the offering. Please note that this morning, half of the non-pledge offering will be donated to Iowa UU Witness and Advocacy Network, or IUON. IUON connects and engages Iowa Unitarian Universalists in social action by building coalitions of UUs and partnerships with other groups and organizations. They advocate for policies of equity, fairness, and inclusion in our state. The other half of the offering will support programs here in our fellowship that make this a community of inclusion, of inspiration, transformation, and belonging. We'll pass the baskets here in Fellowship Hall, but alternately, for those at home or here with a cell phone, you can go to uufames.org/give to make your contribution today. And if you are visiting today, please know that your presence here is gift enough.
Thank you, Madison. And David. Whoa.
Little preaching.
The Generosity Team is a very fun group if you are looking for a new thing to join. We have some pretty interesting conversations, and obviously, what's interesting to me is that we kind of planned this service, but I'm still amazed how it comes together with us all on the same page. This is what I want to say to you. I can't get the images out of my head. Just 1 month ago, thousands of people convened in our largest Midwestern city to confirm a decision critical to our nation's future. From all accounts, including opinion writers who've watched this process for years, the way it unfolded this time around was truly unprecedented, beginning with a generational shift in leadership and the honoring of the elders who made it possible. The unity by which decisions were made and affirmed by this group, the excitement and energy created, and the obvious support from the outside was truly electric. All the traditional dissenters evidently saw this occasion for what it was: a circling of the wagons to gain the upper hand, a coming together around democratic values paramount to our collective future. This coming together was full of music and laughter and crying for joy. 81 million people, and I'm assuming a lot of you, were tuned into their TVs and what they saw looked like a demographic representation of the country and a movement they wanted to be part of, and leadership they could buy into. You probably noticed, like I did, that as the week progressed and as the case was built by speakers black and white, established and emerging, leftist and moderate, large numbers of young people decided that they were, in fact, all in. And volunteers of all ages came out of the woodwork in droves, and the music played on. And the money poured in. $330 million, or was it $540 million, which kind of took my breath away. But mostly it grabbed my attention, given that I was scheduled to stand right here this morning and talk about money. Frankly, I wanted the same kind of result, an unabashed enthusiasm for everything that's going on at the UUFA and a spontaneous outpouring of money in support of it. But what's going to make that happen? I spent a lot of time recently trying to come up with the magic formula for making that happen. But I think the people who have spoken before me today have already said it. You know what? I finally decided it wasn't up to me or to the generosity team, however much we'd like to make all the difference in the way the money pours in, so to speak. It's like that event I was describing, and I assume you all know what I was referring to. It's about the group. It's about all of us coming together with passion around the potential of the UU values, as David just spoke with us, and the reflection in our work and in our play. Passion can be hard for us, but now's the time. Now's the time for passion. This is about the energy and creativity and authentic community that keeps us coming back. It's about a faith group that's unique in a lot of ways, pushing us to discover our own spiritual path, providing guidance and resources without all the answers. And probably it's about having young people and new people in small groups in a social justice circle, and for sure it's about having spectacular leadership. We have those things, including, if I might mention two names, some Kamala-like energy in Reverend Kelly, who is just into her second month here. She is exactly what we hoped for when our search for a new minister began, full of energy and ideas and intellectual curiosity. She's a singer and an actor, for heaven's sakes, and one of the most amazing people persons I've run into in a long time, inviting each and every one of us to connect with her one-on-one so she can truly know who we are. Now, what I'd really like to do is spend another hour or two talking about all these things we really have, but that's not going to work this morning. So 2 things. Number 1, join that startup conversation 2 weeks from now. As we begin this new ministry, all of you will have a chance to weigh in with hopes and dreams, concerns and fears. Please show up on Friday evening, October 4th, to help shape what you pay for. And number 2, please read the email letter you received from the generosity team last week. It looks like this. There. Clever graphic, don't you think? Okay. And it sounds like this. Last year, we set ambitious goals, and together we achieved some remarkable milestones. The settled minister, check. Welcome a full-time RE coordinator. Dana, if you don't know her, is a gem, helping our children and teachers and parents and RE committee understand what many of us see is a brand new world. Secure a music coordinator. Madison, please stand up. Thank you. Thank you for joining our staff. Truly, it's a joy to have your music and your wonderfully upbeat and flexible style and your personal, I don't know, she just makes me smile. That's great. Launch an updated and user-friendly website, check. You know, I hope you use the website and that you found the part on the way, way bottom that says member resources. It has really important information for all members, and if you need a password, you ask Bradley in the office. Initiate plans for membership development. This is on the way to becoming a reality with the intention of hiring a part-time membership coordinator. I guess it's not up there, but it goes on to say, now comes the fun part. Reveling in our achievements and the challenging part, maintaining the momentum of our growth, especially our growing and exceptionally talented professional staff. We have made a commitment to growth. We've made a commitment to thrive by significantly expanding our staff. To quote a member of the Generosity team, this is not an accident. This is an intentional decision, voluntarily and thoughtfully made, and it has major financial implications. Please look at the rest of this letter if you haven't already. Then click the link to the giving page where you will find a giving guide and a chronological list of all pledges from our current year, without names, of course, 2 documents that offer guidance as you consider your financial commitment for 2025. One of the hard parts of creating a money message is that we don't know each family's financial capability. So requests for increased giving can unintentionally leave negative feelings. We know that. But it's our role to urge you to think deeply about what the fellowship provides and how much it means to you. That thriving costs money, more money each year, as it turns out. Our budget this year is over $400,000. Giving is a spiritual practice. And most importantly, we want you to know that we need every member and friend to participate in the finances of the UUFA to the very best of their ability. That's it, no guilt. So Molly, please join me in this conversation. Molly Helmers is the force behind the Generosity team's communications, the second of which will arrive in your inbox momentarily. In fact, if you have your cell phone, you can check. We're okay with that. One of the things I love about Molly's work is that it's not just a bunch of nice words. It's stuff she and we believe and we take seriously and think about a lot. So Molly, at our last meeting, you were thinking out loud about what it would be like if you didn't have this fellowship.
That is true. I was thinking about our annual giving message and this service, and why Matt and I feel so committed to making a financial contribution to the UUFA. And I shared with the Generosity team that every once in a while, Matt gets this idea that we should move back to Northwest Iowa and help with the family farm. And even though I know that's very unlikely to happen, I get to thinking, what would life be like for us if we moved to a small town, or any town really, and there wasn't a UU congregation? And I think about that after being here for 10 plus years now. there would be a huge void in my life without the UU. And I'm not sure if I'd find a faith community like this in very many places. And I'm pretty sure that I would not be content to compromise my values and beliefs to fit in a different faith community at this point. So I think I can say that one of the big reasons that we give, that we make a financial contribution every year, is to express our gratitude and appreciation for the many, many ways that this community nourishes us and sustains us. Because I know I need a faith community that shares my values and inspires me and energizes me and is all those things that Sue mentioned before, creative, inspires curiosity, all of those things. And that allows me to be myself and be true to my beliefs and to be vulnerable as a person.
And that led you to sharing your internal debate about whether you'd be able to increase your giving this year.
I do a lot of thinking out loud at these meetings. And so yes, I was in the process of writing to the congregation the message that you received last week and asking for an increase in financial giving. And I realized, oh crap, this means us too, right? And I started thinking about it and I was like, gosh, this is going to be a really tough year to swing that. We have 2 kids who are going to be college age next year. We found out that our insurance premiums are going up at the university. We have to replace our air conditioner pretty darn soon, and probably a boiler is coming soon, and I'm just not sure that this is the time when we can commit to more. And then I started thinking about this book that Sue brought to the meeting, and I want to just add an aside that these meetings are great. One of the things I love about the generosity team is that when we get together, we talk about all of the tasks that we have to do in planning these campaigns and the mechanics of them. But we also spend a fair chunk of time just talking about giving and why we give and the psychology of giving, and I love that. And usually at the end of the hour, we're kicking ourselves because we didn't record the meeting so that we could just play it back for you all when it comes to this service. But Sue brought this book, Cultivating Generosity, Giving What's Right, Not What's Left, to the meeting. And it's written by a Unitarian Universalist who spent many, many years helping churches with fundraising. And at the heart of the book is this idea that people are really uncomfortable talking about money, especially in a church setting. We can talk about sex and politics and mental health and addiction and all of these topics that used to be really taboo, but it's still hard to talk about money. And of course, it's essential that we do this because 90% of running a successful fundraising campaign is understanding our attitudes and behaviors when it comes to money, why we give. So I read a lot of this book, and I tried to bring some of these concepts back to our family's situation. Because for Matt and I, it's not so much a question of if we're going to give, that's been a learned behavior in our families, but how much we're going to give. And I think we probably go about this in a way that's similar to many of you, where we start with a budget and we deduct all of our potential expenses and we think about what's going to be coming for the next year, and many of those expenses are totally unpredictable, right? And then we arrive at a number that's left. And the author would not disagree with this process. Everybody needs to have a personal budget. But if you're like us, or me in particular, you can always come up with more things that you need to account for in your budget, right? More things that you need to buy, more things that you need to save for, more what ifs, right? And you get yourself down to this very small percentage of your budget that you can dedicate to giving. And what Rem Stokes says is that when you're truly living generously, you start to align your spending less with yourself and your personal and individual needs, and more with the values, with your values and the needs of the collective. We start to give what's right and not what's left. I particularly love the line from our reading this morning, having money is a privilege that allows us the freedom to make decisions It's not about how much we have, but what we decide to do with it. And in another place in this book, the author describes generosity as a feeling of abundance of spirit instead of scarcity. It's open and expansive. And that really hit home for me, and for Matt too, by the way. We did have this conversation. We have prioritized giving to the UUFA for many years, and our values and our priorities have not changed. We want to give what's right, not what's left. That's who we want to be. We want to see the UUFA continue to thrive, and we will increase our giving, despite that laundry list of potential expenses for next year. And now, we've given you a lot to think about. We've gone through that 90% of attitudes and behaviors, and we need to step back and go back to that 10% of mechanics of what needs to happen next. So when you leave today, like Sue said, you're going to have another email message in your inbox from the generosity team with information about your giving history and asking you to pledge a financial contribution for 2025. Now, for those of you who are sustaining givers, there's no action required, but we do hope that you read the message. I spent a lot of time crafting it. And we hope that you consider increasing your sustaining gift to reflect our increased cost of existing. We're thriving, and as Sue pointed out, that costs money. And for those of you who are not sustaining givers, we try to make this as easy as possible. Like the last few years, there's going to be a link in that email to a very short form online where you can indicate how much you'd like to pledge for 2025 and when and how that payment will be made. We're asking for responses to this campaign by October 9th. That's when our finance team comes together and starts to finalize the budget for next year and presents it to the board of directors for their input and review. So we do hope that you will consider this in a timely fashion, because one of our least favorite tasks is following up and feeling like we're nagging you. So thank you very much for hearing all of our hopefully inspiring words this morning. And now we want to leave you with the best part of the service, always the best part of the service, what we've all been waiting for, more music by David Slade. Some of you have heard this one before. We've asked David to bring it back because it's a fun song he did this summer when not everyone is around, called Thank You for Being a Friend, and it's just too good not to do again. And we do want to thank you for all that you do for our fellowship and for our faith community. So David, we're going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Molly. So I would say that Dan's song was the highlight of the service, but I appreciate the hype. And know that this was done once before, and I got too ambitious with my audience participation requests, so tried to scale it down, and I've enlisted Dan to help make sure this goes well. So there's going to be a part at the end where I need y'all to stand up. I'll tell you when to stand up, and then I need you to sing. And the louder and better you sing, the more fun we can have with this. Dan will be your one to guide. Don't listen to me at that point. Things will fall apart. That's what happened the first time. Dan is your guide, so stay with Dan. This is an adaptation of Thank You for Being a Friend, maybe to the UUFA. And I do want to say one more prop for Dan. He wrote the music and the words for his song. That is much harder. I just got to adapt the words, which is really pretty easy. So we're going to practice your part sitting down, but remember, you don't sing until you stand up. So I'm going to sing kind of the main song, which is Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Wanna thank you for being. We wanna thank you for being a friend. We wanna thank you for being. We wanna thank you. Got it? Being a. We wanna thank you for being a friend. We wanna thank you for being a friend. We wanna thank you. So don't pay attention to me at that point. Pay attention to Dan. All right, so when I ask you to stand up, that's when you're on cue. Okay. Thank you for friend. Through the years and all our generations, your hearts are true. Without you, we would not be here today. We're not ashamed to say, we hope you all will continue to pay. Our hat is out, please make your next donation now. Your generosity is the reason we have this excellent gathering space. And when the bills come due, it's the gifts from me and you that keep the lights on in this place. Thank you for being a friend. 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 If there's anything we lack, we know we all have each other's backs. Whatever we need, any time of the day or night. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? Now you get to stand up, take a little bow. Get stretched out, get your lungs ready. All right. And as this place gets older and inevitably decays, we have no fear because your checkbook's always near. You'll help out and then we'll say, thank you for being a friend. We want to thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Let me tell you about a friend. A friend to the UUFA. Friends to the UUFA. Friends of the friends with the UUFA. Friends of friends to friends with the UUFA. 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 Oh, I love you, love, we love the UUFA. 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 Oh, I love you, love, we love the UUFA. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, tell you about a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend.
I love that. I wouldn't find that in Northwest Iowa, I don't think. You can't move to the farm. Okay. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Go in peace and have a great week. And check your email.